Okay, to make the jewelry, the silver button ring, spiral ring like I'm wearing here today, very simple materials that you need. Some silver wire. I happen to have just some, it is 18 gauge wire from Hobby Lobby. This is silver coated non-tarnishing wire. You can also use sterling silver wire if that is something that fits into your budget. That's what my ring is made out of, but this wire works equally as well. You'll need a 12-inch length of that wire. You'll need a 1/2 inch button that has 2 holes. I'm going to stick with black. This is very neutral and goes with lots of different things. You'll need either a scissors or a wire nippers. Today I'm just going to use the scissors. And you'll need some kind of a sanding block. Even something as simple as a fingernail file will work great for finishing off any rough edges that we'll have in the end. You could also use a ring mandrel if you're making it for someone else and then you know their ring size. You could use the ring mandrel to get the sizing. But if I'm making it for myself, I just basically use my own finger so that I know what size I need to make. You're going to start out by taking the 2 ends of the wire and just looping the wire, not creasing it at all, just kind of making it into a large loop, and you're going to then put that over whatever finger you're making the ring for, and you're going to then just start to shape the wire into your ring, and as nice and even of a circle as you can. And we can always straighten out the shape in the end, but the closer you get it to the shape you want in the beginning, the easier it's going to be. So you now have a loop at the top hanging down in between your wire. Now what you're going to do is you're going to copy what you're doing. So now I have a double thickness of wire, and I'm going to come around to just the opposite side, and I'm going to kind of hold it there with my finger, or you could use a jewelry tool if you want to, but I found that my finger works just fine, my fingernail. And you're going to bend it straight up. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other side. You're going to just follow again that wire until you get around to that same spot, and you're going to bend it up. Okay. Now it looks a little misshapen right now, but it will get there. Just trust me on this one. So now you have these 2 pieces of wire, and obviously I did mine a little unevenly, but it's not going to matter for what we're doing. And you're now going to slip one wire down each hole of the button. Now, you don't have to use buttons. The original instructions called for a rondelle ring, which is a rondelle stone, which has a single larger hole in the center, but I found them kind of difficult to find, and if I did find them, I had to buy them in massive packages, which was kind of out of my budget. So what I discovered is, hey, why can't I use something that has 2 holes in it? And buttons are fairly cheap. You can often even get them donated to you, or maybe you have some just laying around that you've used for other projects and things. Once you have this shape, and it's a little tight for this finger, but it's going to work for my demonstration. What we're going to do is we're going to bend those wires over. And then this gets a little tricky, but it just takes a little bit of patience. What we're going to do is we're going to take both of those wires and we're going to just gently start to twist them into a spiral around the center of your button. And you can pull it tighter or looser depending on how much black you want to be showing on your ring. Maybe you want more silver. Maybe you want less silver and more black. Just kind of depends on how you want it to look. Now, I'm going to say that this is what I'm looking for in my ring. And I'm going to end up with, I may have to tighten this one just a smidge. There we go. And you can see the wire is fairly easy to work with. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up with one wire on each side of my ring. And what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take this end and I'm going to pull it down and through, and I'm going to just wrap it tightly around my 2 layers of wire that are forming the band of my ring, however many times you want it to be. And it also kind of sometimes will depend on how much wire you have. So I think 4 sometimes looks pretty good. And you want to end so that you're not going to be having your wires poking down into your skin, and that's where we're also going to be sanding off those rough edges once we trim that wire. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I have shown some elementary teachers how to use this same process, and they use pipe cleaners instead of wire for their projects with their younger students, and they have found that they think that's great fun. Now remember, this is my wire that was shorter on the other side, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get a full 4 out of that. So what I basically want to do is I want to make sure that I have equal numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So what I can do, and again you can use a wire snips, or I've found that this wire is soft enough that I can cut it with the scissors. If it's not a scissors that I'm terribly worried about maybe getting a little damaged, you can use your scissors then to kind of press that last little piece in. And then you can also use a little sanding paper, or like I said, a fingernail file works great to sand off any of those. That feels nice and smooth there, now comfortable. Let's see, if I wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm coming up around on 5, so I got to back this out just a little bit. And then I'll come in and cut that. I can already tell I have a really sharp edge on that one, so I may take care of it before I even bend it in. Okay, now I'm going to just again use I might actually need to trim a little bit more off of that one. And then you can use your scissors to press that down in. Again, if you have jewelry tools, you can use those to manipulate the wire and sand it off. Feel it, make sure it's not going to get, this one feels like it might want to get caught on something. You can even use the table to help you press things into place. There, that feels pretty good. Then I can shape my ring again if it's gotten a little misshapen. But there is your silver and button spiral ring.